We all want to have bigger shoulders. To be honest, it just makes you look better. But if you clicked on this video, it's likely that you're struggling to build the delts of your dreams. But don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to let you know how to work them out and the best exercises to target all parts of your shoulder. But firstly, just in case you didn't know, the shoulder or delt is actually split into 3 different sections. The front delt, which is actually used a lot in pushing movement. So it's actually usually a bit overdeveloped in most lifters. So if you train chest, it's most likely that you actually have a overdeveloped front delt because of all the pushing that you do. Then we have the lateral head, which is also known as the side delt. And in my opinion, this is the top priority for, building bigger shoulders, because having, wider delt gives the illusion of having a smaller waist and, just having the V taper. And lastly, the rear delt. And this part of your shoulder is actually often ignored by most lifters, just because it doesn't really develop unless you target it directly. The front delts. Okay, so personally, I don't actually train my front delts that often, probably like once a week at most. And that's because I do a lot of pushing movements, so a lot of benching and dumbbell pressing, that kind of stuff. But when I do train my front delts, I either go for a heavy overhead press / military press, or a heavy seated shoulder press, or even using a shoulder press machine. So my advice here is basically just pick a overhead press variation that you enjoy, whether it's a military press, seated press, or machine press, etc. And basically just progressively get strong, and you'll definitely see some gains in your front delts. But I would say just avoid the Arnold press at all costs.
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
And yes, I know before all the comments come in, no, but Arnold did it. It worked for Arnold. Well, everything worked for Arnold anyway, so that's beside the point. The reason I say you should avoid the Arnold presses, having to do all that stuff, it doesn't really, in my opinion anyway, really put the maximum stress on the front delt. So I don't really think there's a point in doing it, but it's up to you. If you want to do Arnold pressing, go for it. The lateral / side delts. So the lateral head of the shoulder is actually the easiest to train. It's quite simple really. Do lateral raises. Well, there are actually quite a few different variations of them. But for me, cable lateral raises are the best overall exercise, just because it has constant tension on the muscle throughout the whole exercise. And you get extra points if you do it while leaning slightly.
Yeah, boy.
Dumbbells are actually a decent option here too, but just make sure you're holding the dumbbell near the top, just to put, maximum stress on the actual side delt. Some helpful cues here when you're doing dumbbell lateral raises is to lean forward slightly, bend your arms slightly, and then try and drive through your elbows. This can also be done seated too, to kind of rule out, using momentum to get up.
What did he say?
And don't worry about having to use lighter weights here, because even the biggest guys in the gym have to use lighter weights when they're training their side delts. I would recommend you just focus on, getting the mind-muscle connection right, rather than, focusing on what numbers you're putting up here. Because realistically, who's going to really care about what you're lateral raising anyway? No one's going to ask you, hey bro, what are you lateral raising? Just focus on making sure you're actually working with the target muscle here, which is the side delts. And also don't be shy to try things, like drop sets, force reps, or even partial reps to really burn out the side delts. Because if I'm being honest, so in order to see growth in your side delts, you really need to punish the muscle. You need to put it through hell to really force it to grow. Luckily, your delts can actually recover quite quickly, so you can train your side delts up to 3 or 4 times a week even. And lastly, we've got the rear delts. So the rear delts, this is the most neglected muscle group for most lifters. That's because even though the rear delts do get some love from back exercises like rows and pull-ups, they don't really develop unless you target them directly. So here, the best options to really see some growth in your rear delts would be any variation of a rear delt fly, whether that's on a rear delt fly machine or using cables doing reverse cable flies. Or my personal favorite, which is face pulls. That's because I have a good mind muscle connection with face pulls, and I can actually really isolate my rear delts. You can also do the rear delt flies with dumbbells, but if I'm being honest, I don't really do it just because I kind of struggle to really feel the mind muscle connection when I do it. I usually feel my traps or my upper back just take over, but you're free to try it out and see if you like it. Alright, so there we go. Those are all the exercises you need to build some delicious delts. And here's a little example shoulder workout that you're free to try. Alright, so that's what I do. Let me know down in the comments what you've done to really see some growth in your shoulders. And as always, have a blessed day. Alright, peace.